I should say that I am a very optimistic person, and I think in 99% of my life I'm very optimistic. Yeah, there may be sometimes when I'm pessimistic, but it's like 1%. And I wouldn't say that my view on romantic love is pessimistic. I'd say it's somewhere different. Somewhere maybe philosophical, somewhere maybe a little bit insane. But I decided to share it anyway. Oh, kind of turn out like a little poem or something. It's also raining, so if you hear the rain, just know it's rain. Yeah. So, why do I think that romantic love is not real? There's actually a lot of factors which contribute to my opinion being like this, and I'm gonna explain all of them to you, but I'm just gonna say that I believe in romantic love, but not in the way that I think society shows us romantic love. So because my only standard of romantic love could only be people in my life that have relationships, like my parents or my grandparents or other family members, or movies. Which, to be honest, I'm hanging out with movies more, because I don't really go around and ask my family for their love story, how they met. I don't really care about that, or I never really shown much interest, and other people do care about it, but I never did. So as I think most human beings, I watch more movies than actually ask my relatives on how they met. And in movies, it describes perfectly. It is shown so beautifully, like most things in movies, And I do not believe in that kind of love. I don't believe that there's a set amount of soulmates for you, but I do like this idea. Honestly, I do like this idea that there's somewhere a soulmate for you, or your person or something. To be honest, I never really given much thought to it earlier in my life. I never really thought of it because I was kind of like, I don't know, I just never thought of it. Like, when you eat meat, you don't really think about that there are other people who don't eat it, or like, I don't even know why did I take it as an example, but when I was eating meat, I didn't really think that there are people in the world who are not eating it. I was completely dark to the fact that there are people who don't eat meat, So it's something like this. I wasn't really participating in it. I understood that I'm like, I don't want to even to think about it, and I never did. But more and more, I think I see more relationships and all these things, and I was just, as I always do, I'm like asking myself why. So I think that how my curiosity shows within myself. I'm like, why is that? 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 And what I think, as I already told you, I don't believe that there is the kind of love that you have a certain amount of soulmates, or this kind of thing, or there's only one person for you, or you can like fall in love with someone from first sight or something, love at first sight, or whatever they say. I don't believe in these things. I believe my opinion is that I think people would not even experience, or I don't think people experience romantic love. They just have a name for it because society came up with it. And when they get to know other person and they like, oh, okay, they look amazing, they have all these things, or there are actually a few contributing factors to who we like. Because there are people that also don't believe in romantic love, but do believe in that like likeness, when you like someone, when someone is attractive to you or something. I think there are a few contributing factors. So first one is appearance. Like, it's not really love, it's more lust, I'd say. Maybe not necessarily you just like someone's appearance, but there's somewhere beneath there's lust. So that's not love, Second one is that you may like the idea of this person, or the idea of you being with this person, or there are a lot of people in your life that ship you around that person. I don't even know if that's called ship. I don't even know. Like, there are a lot of people in your life that want you to be with that person. They always joke about that. Or if it's like a group of friends and they see that you like that person, and they joke about that, and you just like, okay, but what if it wasn't, so factors. Attractiveness. Then what would I consider? Society. So whatever society tells you You know, it could be the person that you like is so mysterious, they're so great, no one really understands them, and you feel like you have to understand them, you know, you like, I can figure him out, or I can figure her out, you know. And that is one, also because we love solving puzzles, even though you don't really like solving puzzles, like math puzzles or whatever, we like a challenge, and that's how challenge presents itself in that way. And so my opinion is that we also control who we like, you know, not only love, to whom we feel that attractiveness. So I could focus on other person good characteristics, I'd say, how beautiful they are, how smart they are, how we fit each other, and so on and so forth. And I can build this image around that person in my head and be completely in love with that image without ever getting to know a person. And I think that's a choice also. You don't just get infatuated by someone. I don't know how to pronounce right. Doesn't matter. You don't get overnight obsessed about a person. I think it's a choice. You choose to re-listen to their voice messages. You choose to obsess over every little thing that they said or did. You choose to do these things, and it's easy to choose to do these things rather than actually force yourself not to, because it gives you dopamine. You give yourself dopamine by re-listening to these voice messages, or rethinking about those texts, or rewatching their stories, or reading something that they wrote, or rewatching videos of them. You know, you give yourself a dopamine, and that is why it's easy for us. We just start obsessing over a person we think that we like them, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an expert in this. It's my own opinion, and if you want to judge it, go ahead and judge it. But here's what I have to say about that. But you could also choose not to. You could choose to unfollow that person, delete all the videos, not re-listen to their voice messages, or even like delete their voice messages, and then you'll be left with nothing. You will have no dopamine. You won't have that constant hit. And then after a week, you realize that that person is not really special. They were special in your head. They were made special by you in your own head. Because if they're not texting you now, you're not constantly communicating, and you just keep this idea of them constantly in your head just to keep it alive, then you're the one who's doing all the work. I think in this case, it's not just my opinion. I think it's, or maybe experience that I just had throughout the years, you know, but I strongly think so. I think in that way we can control who we like. And also, I've asked a lot of people whether romantic love is real, and all the people that I asked said yes. But then when we talked about it deeper, and I asked them, so do you start talking to a person and then you like them, or do you like a person and then you start talking to them? Because that's a very interesting paradox. Like, what do you do? What do you choose? Because if you start talking to a person and then you like them, that's a choice. I mean, both of those are choices. But also, in my opinion, you start talking to a person and then you like them. I think that you can fall in love with everyone. I think everyone has a positive traits that are worth falling in love with. Even the worst kind of people in the world, everyone has good traits that worth falling in love with. You could fall in love with any human being if you were given enough time to. So there is this study, and I think a lot of people heard of it, and I think you've heard of it already. There is a list of 36 questions to fall in love. I think they actually called like that. 36 questions to fall in love with anyone. And these questions are kind of help you open up to a person gradually. So it's not like, what is your biggest fear, or like, what is your biggest dream, or something. It kind of starts out casually, then digs deeper. I don't remember the details of that study, but there were few pairs of people that actually got married after that. So basically these questions are made to make it kind of makes you fall in love with someone. It makes you open up to them, and it makes you vulnerable before that person, and kind of forces you to fall in love with them. So the feeling of love could be conducted through 36 questions. So love could be, see, I remember this word in Ukrainian. I've talked to my friends about it so much, I forgot the original text. Those 36 questions evoke feeling of love. So feeling of love could be evoked, and that is everything I had to know about it. I just ate one more cookie, so if my teeth are gonna have black residue from the dough, don't be strict on me. Don't be mad. Okay. So basically, the study. There were 151 pairs of strangers, both cross-sex and same-sex. And what happened when they used these questions is the pairs that used these questions, they felt more closer afterwards compared to small talk, which is understandable, because where is the small talk and where are these 36 questions that gradually get closer and closer, more personal. And so follow-up behavior was that among those pairs, 57% had at least one subsequent conversation after that. 35 did something together, and 37 sat together in the class. I do not know what that means of 37 sat together in the class, but out of those 151 pairs, one pair ended up marrying. So that's interesting. That's very interesting how they just evoked a feeling of love. Even though, you know what? I think I was a little bit wrong, because when I was telling the story to people, I said that a lot of people got married, but I just realized that it was one pair, and I was lying to my friends all along. But that's fine. They never watch it. I hope. Let's hope that. But it's still interesting to me how these questions are designed to evoke a feeling of closeness, and how it does evoke a feeling of closeness, because 57%, almost like 60% of people had a follow-up conversation after that, and like subsequent conversation, not just like small talk conversation. So it's interesting. But even these questions, I don't think, make you fall in love with someone. You have to choose. If you have some boundaries in your head and you have like, no, I will get married, or like I'll be in a relationship when I'll get this done. Doesn't matter who you meet. Doesn't matter how an amazing person you're gonna meet. Doesn't matter how unreal you think you would be for that person to like you. You still subconsciously won't be choosing them. You'll be choosing you. So it's, for example, you liked a person for the longest time. As you can remember, you liked this person for the longest time, but you realized that, obviously you wouldn't want a relationship, and anyone who approaches you, you're just like, I don't want a relationship, you could be just friends with them. And then this person shows interest in you, and you're like, interesting. I think I could go against my own standards and my own like things I set out in my head and be with that person, And then you talk, and you just get used to the person. And then you catch yourself thinking, I don't think I would ever let something happen. I think I would like leave it at friendship. That person is not as exciting for you anymore. For maybe a month of talking to that person, months, 2, 3, you'd be so head over the moon, and you would be so excited. You were so like, oh my god, how did that happen? I like being with this person so much. Oh my gosh. But people have this tendency, and very bad tendency, and this just biological thing. We get used to things very fast. So novelty wears off. Novelty of the person wears off. You get to know the person. You understand how complex they are, because the most complex thing in the world is a human being. And you get used to them. You get used to their jokes. You get used to all these things. So maybe it was a novelty for you and something unimaginable for you to go out with that person, and then they ask you to go out, and you went out a few times, and you just don't think of it as special. You can make your mind up and force yourself to think about something as special, as though it's like special. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think falling in love is a choice. It doesn't happen unwillingly. You still choose it, even subconsciously. You choose it. And I think we were led to believe in this idea that it just happens and you have to feel it, and you kind of feel that is your person, and if you don't feel it and you have to think twice about it, it's not your person. And I'm of the opinion that it doesn't work like that. I'm of an opinion that is how we kind of see whether I think that shows that you just attach to a person. You have probably anxious attachment style, and you just attach to a person, and you just don't want to let them go, and you choose to find something that you love in them just in order to keep yourself with them and keep them with you, because of unhealthy attachment style. And I feel like most people have unhealthy attachment style, but there are also people who just push someone away. Both unhealthy attachment styles, when you keep someone too close and you mistake it for love, and when you push someone away and you think you're gonna be fine on your own. And what I believe is love is a choice, as I already said. I could go out in the world, and the worst human being that could be ever, I don't even know how would you choose the worst human being that is right now alive. I think with right intentions and with the right mindset and with wisdom and patience, you could get to know that person and you could fall in love with that person, because everyone has something that are worth falling in love with. But because we have all these movies, we have social media, we have dating websites, we want our partner to be something else. We want them to be beautiful, we want them to be smart. We have all these criteria that we want them to be. We want them to earn that amount of money, or look like this, or have that car, or own these things, or have this perfume or something. So that's why we're picky. But our pickiness starts and stops on the appearance. Yes, maybe we have some underlying and deeper requirements, such as I want them to be smart, I want them to be courageous. But let's be honest, if you're gonna find everyone who meets all your inner criteria, but they are not attractive to you, it's not your type, or they're not attractive to you, or you just like, I don't know, feel the ick so much, most of the people won't pursue that, because they feel like they have to have butterflies in their stomach. Where I come in and I say that butterflies are just anxiety. So when someone picks you up for the first time, you're anxious, and you do not know what to do, you do not know what to wear, you do not know how to act, what to do, all these things. That is anxiety. That is the same anxiety you feel before you give a speech at the event, or gonna sing in front of a public, or do these things. But because I feel films portray these butterflies in the stomach as love, we perceive it as love, but it's just unknown. It's just anxiety. We don't know what to expect from this person. We do not know what to expect from this date. So that's why we feel anxious. That's why we feel anxious. And I don't think that's love. I think it's anxiety. And I also read it somewhere that butterflies in the stomach is anxiety, not love. And I totally agree with that. Also, when we are so cold in love, we experience a lot of neurological things. I don't remember the name, like dopamine and all these different things that I actually forgot, even though I was reading about them recently. And I kind of did a little bit of research when I was younger. And I conducted a study. I mean, not really a study, but it like heavily researched the topic of love. Maybe not heavily, but like I worked on it for like a week. And what I discovered is that we feel everything that we feel when we are in love in any other situation. So dopamine is when you basically do anything that you like. You could feel dopamine from TikTok, you could feel dopamine from reading a book, from a lot of things where you could feel this. There's also different things, which I do not remember, and I'm too lazy to open it up on my laptop and just search for it. But there are other things that you could feel, for example, when you take a warm shower. You feel one of those things that you feel when you're in love, or when you look in your pet's eyes, or when you eat healthy, or when you know, and you can, I feel like, artificially, or not even artificially, it's real, make yourself feel all these things that you feel when you're in love, but the natural way. So it's not something that you cannot feel in your life without love. And that is very interesting. But I also think that you have to have, it's a very beautiful notion that everyone is beautiful, everyone is amazing, and everyone has something that worth falling in love with. But you should also be at a place in your life where you choose to not be with that person, but to understand them, to not judge them, to listen to them, to do all these things which people do when they're building a relationship. All these smart, wise things, even though sometimes you want to scream or yell or avoid someone or attach more to someone or something. Really depends on your attachment style, what you feel like doing in stressful situations. But yeah, and that is the hardest part. The hardest part is that no one is choosing for you. The hardest part is that it's entirely up on you. It's entirely up on you who you're gonna choose. And interesting fact, the most influential person in our lives is not our family members. Those are not our parents, brothers, mothers, fathers, brothers, cousins, friends. No. The most influential person in our life is our spouse. And the thing is, we choose them ourselves. There is no one you could put this responsibility on and blame someone for, oh, why my spouse is like this or this or this. No, it's completely your choice. And I feel like also in Christianity, some people believe there's like a person made for them, or there's just like God will just give them the person that they supposed to be with, or something like this. Because I've really met people who actually believe it, and I never really thought twice about it, but when I did start thinking about it, I realized that no, there's no one in the Bible that mentioned that we all are promised to have other half. There is no one in the Bible mentioned that we will be given that person. There is only one and only person for us there. No, there's a lot of people, and you choose. And then God. And then I also believe, I don't know much about that, but I feel like you choose. And yes, you pray whether it's a good person, but at the end of the day, you make a choice and you ask God to bless that choice. And then you have to figure out how to live with, cons of that person's character, their cons, and so on and so forth. And is the scariest part. Because you could choose on emotions, you could choose because of how they look, you could choose by some other factor because society thinks that you are two together very well, that other things, and you can choose wrong and be stuck with that person for a very long time, maybe not for the rest of your life, because people kind of came up with divorce, and divorcing is very interesting thing that is going on in the world, so you don't necessarily have to suffer your whole life. Even though in Christianity, it's not a very good thing to get divorced. I don't think it's acceptable to get divorced. It's acceptable, but it's very weirdish, I'd say. So yeah, but I think put any two wise, intelligent, emotionally mature human beings, and they could make it work if they would both want to. And sure, if you will. Also, I'm not sure how it works, whether, like, what do you feel? Do you start feeling like you're in love with someone when you choose to love them or not? Or what you, like, do you choose it? How do you know whether you love someone? Whether you not just force yourself to love someone, or, all these things? That is a very interesting topic, and these questions are the ones that I'm searching answer to, or like, not like searching, but which I'm thinking about. So yeah, thank you for this episode. Thank you that you finished watching it, that you're still here, and it's such a terrible weather outside. I think I'm gonna go take a nap, but in the meantime, have a great day. Hopefully it's not raining and it's not cloudy where you are. And I'll see you just in a bit, or maybe longer, because I don't have the schedule for filming these yet. I'm working on that. The last thing is I'm gonna give you a hug, and if it makes you uncomfortable, you can stop watching the video now, but I will. It's like my little tradition with this camera at this point. I wanted to say like my tradition with you guys, but I'm not sure. I'm just always hugging the camera. So that is as weird for me as for you. Maybe even weirder for me. I don't know. Cool blanket, right? Yeah. So have an amazing day. I love you. Jesus loves you. Bye.